Artists and businessmen dwell on the opposite ends of spectrum. What a bunch of bullshit. Hello everybody, my name is Andrew and today I would like to address the elephant in the room. The art community, although so seemingly progressive and open-minded and free-spirited, is crippled by biases, prejudices, snobism, narcissism and a bunch of other smart words. Let's be real. Deep inside, we all would love to become the next Picassos and Banksys, celebrated artists, living off of our important, times-defining work, while at the same time, we don't really care. Or even worse, we just don't want to sell out, while we are busting off our artistic butts at Michael's for minimal wage. Fear not though. Since this channel is all about holding hands and spreading good vibes, in this video I would like to share some ideas how to break free from the stereotypical idea of a starving, deeply wounded artist and finally get your shit together and start crushing your goals. All while working on my recent commission of a portrait of John Lennon. Step 1 is as ridiculously obvious as it is underestimated. Put yourself out there. Here's the thing. Every artist, especially in the beginning, is full of doubts. Am I ready? Am I good enough? Is my art good enough? But instead of trying to figure it out in your own head, let the market decide. Have you ever traded your sketch for an apple at school? Well, here you go. It doesn't really matter if it's watercolor landscapes or custom guitars. Just put it out there and whatever happens, learn from it and improve. The truth is, often it's less about the quality of your work, but pricing it right and getting it in front of the right people. In the age of social media, however, sometimes it's not even about that. Here's a little story. Julie and I bought 5 pieces of art from a young artist from the Ukraine whom I had randomly stumbled upon on Instagram. We saw the talent, loved the passion, creativity, and wanted to show some support. She was blown away and admitted right away that she had no idea how to price her own work. So I said, take your time, a few days if you need, and come up with a price that you would be comfortable with. And she did. 3 years later, she's grown a bigger audience, sells her art, and her skills are so good. Am I taking credit for any of that? Absolutely not. But I do know how big of a deal and how big of a confidence boost it is to have strangers showing you support. Also, please remember that perfection is relative. Just like you look back and cringe at your own work from 10 years ago, the future you 10 years from now will not be too impressed with your current skills either. So there is no reason to wait. Just start sharing your journey with the world today, and chances are you will meet people excited to support you. But then again, please keep your expectations low. Getting your first sales is very difficult, even though it does feel so good. Step 2, post your work on social media. What a revelation, huh? But like it or not, today is just a part of the game. My biggest advice here, quantity over quality. I know it seems counterintuitive because our art is so important and precious and everything has to be perfect, but the reality is social media are not a gallery of your life achievements. Your posts become irrelevant in a split second, and the more work you put into your post, the more it hurts to see them left unnoticed. And the more of these misses you get in a row, the less sense it seems to continue wasting your time. And then the burnout, demotivation, and you are still a starving artist. To avoid this, minimize the amount of steps it takes for you to share your story. For instance, a professional camera is amazing, but setting it up, the right lighting, transferring files, editing them, transferring back, posting becomes a time-devouring project of its own. Instead, focus on your art and interactions with your followers. After all, there's only 24 hours in a day, so make them count. Step 3. Establish a point of sale. It can be a personal website with an online store, an Etsy shop, eBay, Society6, tents at a farmer's market, or even the trunk of your car in the parking lot of a music festival. Whether it's online or in person, you do need a place where people complimenting your work will pull out their wallets and turn into your customers. Follow the path of least resistance though. Do not spend a lot of time building a custom website or saving money for a dream van you would be selling your art from. Again, the more effort you invest up front, the more likely you are to get your dreams crushed when you realize no one really cares. Remember that no one succeeds from the first try. So patience, persistence, and lots of ramen noodles. Step 4. Price your work. If you want to make money with your creative skills, you need to figure out how much you are going to charge for your products and services. There are many strategies people use to determine the prices, but to me, the simplest way to come up with a rough estimate is materials plus time. So you take the hourly rate at your current job, which you've already agreed to sell your soul for, and you multiply it by the amount of hours it realistically takes you to finish the work. On top of that, you throw in the cost of the materials you've used, and you've got yourself the starting point. And then, of course, you can tweak it further, like factoring in how sizzling hot the current market is, or perhaps you would be glad to work for less, just to avoid your 2-hour commute and your snarky boss. Just remember, a race to the bottom is not sustainable. It is okay to lower your prices, but only when you have a clear long-term goal in mind and you are realistic about it. If you are promised a ton of projects coming up next, run. And working for exposure, oof, I can already hear blood boiling in every experienced artist's head right now, just hearing those magical words. Step 5. Look for customers. How do you get customers? Well, this actually is the million-dollar question, perhaps even a billion-dollar. Some people seem to have found a way to tap into the very fabric of business space-time, while you seem not to be able to sell anything no matter how low you're dropping the prices to. I do know how frustrating it feels. And to be completely honest with you, I don't think there is one best-kept secret which will guarantee you success, simply because there are so many factors involved. You just have to try a strategy after a strategy until it clicks. And that is coming from someone who has sold through various channels, often not even trying that hard. From an online art marketplace and Instagram DMs to Etsy and even cold emailing. Yes, that is true. What a story. Maybe for some other time. But to cut it short, you have to think outside of the box, be a little bit more proactive, and not give up so easily. You know what? I changed my mind. There is one best-kept secret by Albert Einstein. And it says, doing the same thing over and over again, expecting different results, is the definition of insanity. In other words, if you try your best but you don't succeed, perhaps it's time to take it back to the drawing board and try something else. Speaking of something else, here is something pretty controversial else to consider. Putting the price right there in the description, right at the top. I know, there are so many good reasons not to do that, but think about the last time you were shopping and you picked up an item which had caught your eye, but the price tag was missing. Did you go on a mission to find a price scanner, or you took it to the checkout to ask the cashier to scan it for you, or you just said meh and you threw it back onto the shelf? The thing is, if you create a cool little Star Wars diorama, put it online and say that you are going to sell it for $100, there are going to be people who will think, are you kidding me? $100 for that? But I bet you there are also going to be people who will think, oh, just $100? At the end of the day, what are you afraid of? That someone will come at you, hey, why the hell is it $200 if it was $100 just a year ago? To which you will kindly respond, Oh, actually, it's 300 because there's a surcharge for answering stupid questions. Just kidding, it's all love. Another step worth mentioning, at least briefly, is to look for alternative ways to make money with your art. So, number 6. Many artists, especially old-timers, seem to be a little bit too close-minded and zoned in onto just one thing. I paint portraits of dogs on canvas with oils, and I did send emails to local galleries, never got a response, no one is buying my paintings, and that's pretty much where my art career is at so far. It's like, do you realize that selling your originals, those single physical copies at galleries, are not the only way to pay your bills with art, right? For starters, you can offer posters for a fraction of the price of the original. Matter of fact, you can do what Elon Musk is doing with all of those Tesla tequilas and not flamethrowers, which is basically making people pay for his main business's marketing campaigns. You can print on demand art on mugs, t-shirts, kitchen towels, and so on. You can offer commissions and personalized paintings, offer painting murals at your local vet clinics. You can put together some artworks, add a little story, and publish it as a children's book on Amazon's KDP. You can put together an online course on how to paint with oils, how to paint dogs, or how to paint hot dogs, or teach in person, or organize one of those dope painting and drinking wine events. So there are quite a few options to explore, which still involve you doing what you enjoy doing. And finally, step 7 is to treat it like a business. As I've already mentioned, ignorance is not bliss. Whether you like it or not, you are already a part of the game, and there is no virtue in not knowing the rules. And until you get at least the basics, you will be used, abused, and you will lose. And all of those, oh, but I'm an artist, I'm not a businessman. Stop. No one is expecting of you to become the next Jeff Bezos, or give up your art and go to a business school. Do not overthink this. Do not overthink this. All it really takes to get the bare basics is one weekend to sit down in front of a computer and Google. And obviously, subscribe to this channel. Come on, do it. Do it. If you are too busy for any of that, then turn on a podcast or YouTube while you're working on your art or when you are commuting to your 9 to 5. This knowledge will give you so much value in the long run, you will wonder why the hell no one has taught you this in school. And while you're at it, learn the basics of investing in the stock markets as well, at least what an IRA is. I promise, future you will be so proud. I enjoy unique experiences. I mean, who doesn't, right? That's why I try to, whenever I can, do something special for my clients and viewers. Especially on a day like today when I am personally delivering a painting to a client in Newport Beach, California. And I think I know what will make a client of mine a little bit more cheerful on this rainy, nasty California afternoon. Cerveza. All right, got the booze? Let's go! And we are here. Funny enough, this is the same apartment complex we were thinking of moving into half a year ago. What a small world. And finally, John is in his new home. Once again, thank you very much, Jason. Thank you, Lila. And see you in the next video, guys. Mwah!